Well, as premiers and politicians make their promises for the year, Newzroom Afrika today taking a closer look at the state of our cities. The city of Tshwane is among the country's metros that have been plagued by service delivery issues. Residents accusing the DA-led administration of charging them ridiculous amounts of rates and taxes but failing to deliver the basic services. Newzroom Afrika's Zola Sholwana spent the day in the capital city of Tshwane today, and she joins us in studio to tell us how residents feel exactly about being residents of Tshwane. Nothing more frustrating than paying for services. Either you don't get those services, or when you're lucky, you get half of that service. Tell us exactly how the residents feel in Tshwane.
Well, Kali, what I can tell you is that there's a lot of frustration on the ground, especially in townships and informal settlements in the city of Tshwane, with the residents saying that they feel like the DA-led administration has been neglecting informal settlements, and also townships saying that they have been submitting quite a number of memorandums to the executive mayor with a list of demands. There's a lot of those demands. When we went there, they were showing us around, showing us potholes, there are sewer systems, buildings that are incomplete, and saying that they don't believe that this current administration is serving the people of Tshwane. They also mentioned that there's been an issue of drugs in those communities, Attridgeville and Lotus Gardens, and there's an incomplete project which I believe that was meant to be a sports center, and that has been there for quite some time, and they believe that if the municipality had perhaps maybe taken that project further or completed that project, then it would have taken the children from the streets into doing something, that is quite productive with their time. And also the elderly are complaining about the ridiculous amounts of rates and taxes that they are being charged by the municipality, saying that they get their bills, sometimes they reach 12,000 rands, and these are people that are pensioners that are recipients of the elderly grant, which is about 2,500 rand, saying that they don't know what they're supposed to do. And you'd understand that during Mayor Silas Spring's last briefing, he had mentioned that they will be, switching off illegal connections and also making sure that those that are not paying, businesses in residential areas that are not paying for services in Tshwane will obviously have to, suffer, because in a nutshell, for them to be able to save the city, they need to do what they call debt collection.
Well, what did the city have to say about these complaints from residents? I suspect the mayor may have reminded everyone that that city saw a strike that went on for months. Was that part of the defense?
Well, the last time we spoke to the city with regards to an issue of service delivery, because you'd understand that clearly there's been, service delivery, has always been an issue in Tshwane, and there's been so many protests that have been led by residents as a result of that. Now, the mayor then mentioned that most of these issues that they're encountering, especially, the collection of waste, is because they didn't have manpower at that time because of the summer strike that took place. But obviously this is months later. Now residents want to find out, is the mayor or is the city still blaming that strike for what is happening on the ground? The potholes, electricity issue, garbage on the streets, so many issues that they are looking at. So what they're demanding from the city is to hear answers as to why are townships surrounding or in the city of Tshwane currently facing these issues? Is it still because of the strike? And if it's not, what can be done to better the situation? As they have mentioned that they are not backing down.
Zola Sholwana, thank you very much for giving us a snapshot of how the people of Tshwane feel about the state of their city. Well, as we mentioned earlier, Newzroom Afrika paying a special focus on the state of our cities, and you would have seen the earlier coverage, for example, in Limpopo, the state of some projects that simply have been left incomplete.